Genesis chapter 7. The Lord then said to Noah, "Go into the ark, you and your whole family, because I have found you righteous in this generation. Take with you 7 pairs of every kind of clean animal, a male and its mate, and 1 pair of every kind of unclean animal, a male and its mate, and also 7 pairs of every kind of bird, male and female, to keep their various kinds alive throughout the earth. 7 days from now, I will send rain on the earth for 40 days and 40 nights, and I will wipe from the face of the earth every living creature that I have made." And Noah did all that the Lord commanded him. Noah was 600 years old when the flood waters came on the earth. And Noah and his sons and his wife and his sons' wives entered the ark to escape the waters of the flood. Pairs of clean and unclean animals, of birds, and all the creatures that move along the ground, male and female, came to Noah and entered the ark as God had commanded Noah. And after the 7 days, the flood waters came on the earth. In the 600th year of Noah's life, on the 17th day of the second month, on that day all the springs of the great deep burst forth, and the floodgates of the heavens were opened. And the rain fell on the earth 40 days and 40 nights. On that day, on that very day, Noah and his sons Shem, Ham, and Japheth, together with his wife and the wives of his 3 sons, entered the ark. They had with them every wild animal according to its kind, all livestock according to their kinds, every creature that moves along the ground according to its kind, and every bird according to its kind, everything with wings. Pairs of all creatures that have the breath of life in them came to Noah and entered the ark. The animals going in were male and female of every living thing, as God had commanded Noah. Then the Lord shut him in. For 40 days the flood kept coming on the earth, and as the waters increased, they lifted the ark high above the earth. The waters rose and increased greatly on the earth, and the ark floated on the surface of the water. They rose greatly on the earth, and all the high mountains under the entire heavens were covered. The waters rose and covered the mountains to a deep of more than 15 cubits. Every living thing that moved on land perished: birds, livestock, wild animals, all the creatures that swarm over the earth, and all mankind. Everything on dry land that had the breath of life in its nostrils died. Every living thing on the face of the earth was wiped out: people and animals, and the creatures that move along the ground, and the birds were wiped from the earth. Only Noah was left, and those with him in the ark. The waters flooded the earth for 150 days. Genesis chapter 7. So thanks for the Lord for this message, for His word. So this chapter talks about how God brought the great flood to the earth. So everything that the Lord had commanded Noah was done accordingly, and so the great flood came in. It says there that um, on the verse 11, on that day all the springs of the great deep burst forth, and the floodgates of the heavens were opened. So this is the work of the Lord. It's only the Lord that can do this, because He's the Creator, and He can control everything that he made. So when he decided to wipe out humankind and just leave Noah to be alive and his family, it says there that it was not just the great rain for 40 days and 40 nights, but all the springs also were burst. So I can't imagine how this terrible thing happened, but um, it was God's judgment because of the sin of the whole generation of the generation of this human human race before. But if we've read this story already, because I believe most of us know how it was done. So God promised at the latter chapter, God promised to not to do it again, to wipe out the human using the flood. But um, instead, he made a covenant to remember whenever it rains. He invented the rainbow, which has a scientific explanation as well. But basically, they can just explain how it come up like that, but there's no explanation to why there are colors, right? And there is that spectrum, something like that. So still, you know, science cannot explain everything. Though it's it's so sweet to know that when the Lord found when you found favor in the eyes of the Lord, it's not just you who's gonna get the favor, but your whole family, everything that's under you or subject to you. Like if you're a father, then every member of your family will be saved with you. So as a father, I'm a father, and I'm a husband. So I'm so blessed to know how the Lord credit that um, kind of responsibility. So the Lord could have just left Noah alone and his wife and let the rest perish, right? But what he did, he of course included the sons and the in-laws of Noah to be saved. So this verse here in verse 5, and Noah did all that the Lord commanded him. So it is really in the character of Noah to really obey the Lord, right? So we don't really know how the fate of Noah, unlike Abraham, where there was really um, like a long story, a detailed story about him. But in this, the fate of Abraham was really explained, or it was really highlighted on the previous chapters. But for Noah, it was just Noah did all that the Lord commanded him, something like that. So it's really inspiring that when you really obey the Lord, it would bring blessings and salvation, not just to you, but to your whole family. So, again, of course, we cannot um, deny or just separate the fact that we are sinners. We commit sins every now and then. So, that righteousness, this obedience that we have in our heart, is because the Lord is with us. Okay, so salvation will not come from our good deeds. So the Lord Noah here was made righteous because the Lord was pleased with him because of his faith to him. Same as what we have right now. When you have faith with Jesus, we are being justified by that faith that we believe in His only Son. So It's not a license to sin, but the Lord knows what's inside our heart. He is not looking to our actions, but in our heart. So when we have it in our heart, I've experienced that when you desire something in your heart, the Lord will give you power, will empower you to do that desire in your heart. So for example, you have desire to be successful, to finish your school, or to pursue a career. So if the Lord pleases, then He will give you power and capability to accomplish that. So it's not just you, it's the Lord. Because if the Lord won't let you, so like for example, you're gonna be sick. So how can you pursue those dreams? So still, it's the Lord who's gonna give us this power to do what we are desiring in our heart. So same as with the spiritual matters. If you desire to really obey the Lord, regardless of our capacity, the Lord will justify that by empowering us to do what is right. So it's not by our own, but it's the Lord's work in our lives. So that's all I can share on this chapter. Thank you. God bless.